According to Charlie Munger, the real secret to building wealth is not complex strategies or flashy investments, but simple ideas followed with extreme discipline over a long period of time. He often said that the first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. That one idea alone explains why small investments, when left alone and allowed to grow, can transform an entire family's financial future. Charlie Munger believed that most people underestimate how powerful patience really is. He explained that wealth doesn't usually come from clever trading or chasing hot opportunities. It comes from sitting on good investments for a very long time and letting time do the heavy lifting. This is why small investments matter. They give you something to start compounding early, and once compounding starts, time becomes your greatest ally. One of Munger's most famous ideas was that getting rich is about avoiding stupidity, not seeking brilliance. In other words, don't lose money. When you're working with small investments, avoiding big mistakes is even more important. A single bad decision can wipe out years of progress. That's why Munger favored simple, understandable investments over speculative ones. He believed that if you don't understand how something makes money, you shouldn't invest in it at all. Generational wealth starts with discipline, and discipline starts with consistency. Munger often talked about habits being more important than intelligence. You don't need an extremely high IQ to build wealth. You need the ability to delay gratification and stick to a plan. Consistently investing small amounts, month after month, year after year, may not feel exciting, but it builds a financial habit that can last for generations. Another key principle from Charlie Munger is the idea of having a long-term mindset. He criticized short-term thinking because it leads people to make emotional decisions. Small investors often panic when markets go down and sell at the worst possible time. Munger believed that volatility is not the enemy. Emotional reactions are. If you can stay calm during market downturns, small investments become opportunities instead of threats. Munger also emphasized the importance of quality. Even with small investments, he believed in buying wonderful businesses at fair prices rather than mediocre businesses at cheap prices. The idea is simple. A high-quality business with a strong competitive advantage can grow for decades. When your small investments are placed into businesses that continue compounding earnings year after year, the results can be extraordinary over time. One powerful lesson from Munger is that big outcomes often come from a few great decisions, not constant activity. He once said that the biggest gains in Berkshire Hathaway came from a handful of investments held for a very long time. This means you don't need hundreds of investments. Even a few well-chosen ones, purchased gradually with small amounts, can become the foundation of generational wealth. Charlie Munger was a strong believer in reinvestment. He believed that letting profits compound within a business was far more powerful than constantly pulling money out. This idea applies directly to personal investing as well. When dividends, profits, or gains are reinvested instead of spent, your wealth grows faster. Small investments grow into medium investments, medium ones become large, and eventually, large ones become life-changing. Another critical idea from Munger is simplicity. He often said that investing should not be overly complicated. Complexity increases the chance of error. Small investors in particular benefit from simple strategies, such as investing regularly in strong businesses or broad market indexes. These approaches reduce risk and allow compounding to work steadily in the background. Munger also stressed the value of having a margin of safety. This means buying assets at prices that give you room for error. When you're investing small amounts, protecting your capital is essential. A margin of safety doesn't guarantee success, but it greatly reduces the chance of permanent loss. Over decades, avoiding catastrophic losses is one of the most important contributors to generational wealth. Education was another pillar of Charlie Munger's philosophy. He was a lifelong learner and believed that reading and thinking were unfair advantages. Generational wealth is not just money passed down. It is knowledge passed down. When families teach financial literacy, investing principles, and rational thinking to the next generation, small investments made today can have an impact far beyond money itself. Munger believed that incentives drive behavior. Understanding incentives helps you make better decisions not just in investing, but in life. When you invest small amounts consistently, you create a positive incentive structure for yourself. You're rewarded for patience, discipline, and rational thinking. Over time, these behaviors compound just like money does. One of Munger's most practical lessons is focusing on what you can control. You can't control market returns, interest rates, or economic cycles. But you can control how much you save, how often you invest, and whether you stay invested. Small investments put control back in your hands. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need consistency. According to Charlie Munger, envy is one of the most dangerous emotions in investing. Watching others get rich quickly can tempt you into taking unnecessary risks. Small investors often abandon solid plans to chase trends. Munger warned against this behavior because it interrupts compounding. Generational wealth requires ignoring noise and staying focused on long-term goals. Munger also believed that wealth should grow quietly. There's no need to impress anyone. When you prioritize sustainable growth over social validation, you're more likely to make rational decisions. Small investments made quietly and consistently often outperform bold, attention-grabbing moves over time. Another lesson from Munger is that character matters. Integrity, patience, and rationality influence financial outcomes more than people realize. People who build generational wealth often share similar traits. They live below their means, invest regularly, and avoid unnecessary debt. Small investments are possible only when spending is under control, and that comes from strong personal discipline. Munger frequently talked about the importance of being prepared. Opportunities don't come often, but when they do, having capital matters. Small investments allow you to gradually build that capital. When market downturns create bargains, disciplined investors can take advantage instead of panicking. Over generations, this ability to act rationally during chaos becomes a powerful advantage. He also believed that doing nothing is often the best decision. This is especially true once you've made good investments. Constant buying and selling reduces returns through taxes, fees, and mistakes. Small investments benefit greatly from inactivity. Let them sit, grow, and compound without interference. Charlie Munger's philosophy shows that generational wealth is not about size at the start. It's about direction and duration. Small investments are like seeds. Most seeds don't look impressive when planted. But given the right conditions and enough time, they grow into massive trees that provide shade for generations. Passing on wealth also means passing on principles. Munger believed that teaching children how money works was more valuable than leaving them money without guidance. If the next generation understands compounding, discipline, and long-term thinking, they can preserve and grow what's been built. In the end, according to Charlie Munger, the formula is simple but not easy. Live below your means. Invest the difference. Choose quality. Avoid stupidity. Be patient. Let compounding work. When these ideas are applied consistently, even small investments can grow into generational wealth. This is not a shortcut. It's a path that rewards those who stay rational while others panic, who remain consistent while others quit, and who think in decades while others think in weeks. Small investments, guided by Charlie Munger's principles, don't just grow money. They build a legacy.